So thank you, Dr. Francis Vaidya, for inviting me as a resource person for this state level seminar on Constitution of India and gender equality. And thank you, Dr. Jitendra Ahirkar, President, National Child and Women Development Council, Maharashtra State, in collaboration with the Inner Wheel Club of Bombay Film City, District 314, for organizing this state level seminar and inviting me as a resource person. And thank you, Vibhuti Madam, for coming. I heard your lecture very sincerely. A lot of information you have to provide to all the participants. Thank you very much. Now I share my PPTs on this Constitution of India and gender equality. What are the constitutional rights and the responsibilities? So we know in 1947, on August 29th, 1947, one resolution was passed in the Constituent Assembly, that is the appointment of the drafting committee. And the Constituent Assembly appointed a drafting committee with 7 members, including Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And the doctor for the preparing of the draft of Constitution of Independent India. Our Prime Minister Pandit Nehru and the Honorable Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel thought to invite the person for writing the draft of this Constitution of Independent India. They wanted to invite some foreign experts. Sir Gore Jennings. At that time, Sir Gore Jennings is a very, very renowned personality for the expert in the Constitution. And for this thinking, Pandit Nehru and the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel goes to the Mahatma Gandhiji for taking the advice. Can we invite the foreign people, Sir Jennings, for the writing of the Constitution of Independent India. Then Gandhiji not agreed for this agreement. Gandhiji says, no, I am not ready to give. Why we appoint or why we call the foreign personality to write the Constitution of Independent India? We have the personality and the most deserving person in India. We have it. So appoint that personality. Then Nehru requested him to tell me the name of that personality. So Gandhiji recommended Dr. B.R. Ambedkar for the writing of the Constitution of Independent India. And the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel also agreed. And finally, the drafting commission, drafting of the Constitution, the chairman is appointed as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, appointed as the chairperson for this drafting committee. And we have our experience, what a beautiful and a very knowledgeable Constitution of India. Our Constitution of India is the world constitution. It is very, very important document of our Constitution, and it is all over world. It is the worth. So the Dr. like this, so Dr. B.R. Ambedkar appointed as the chairperson of this drafting committee. And what are the contribution of Dr. Ambedkar? So we see the first page of the preamble, that is the preamble, the first page of our Constitution, where our preamble favors the gender equality and ensures social justice to the people of India. Indian Constitution assures that justice, social, economic, political, equality of status and opportunity, and dignity of the individual. The commitment to gender equality is well enshrined at the highest policy of our making level in the Constitution of India. In our Constitution, the principle of gender equality, there are the fundamental rights, directive principle of the state policy, and the fundamental duties. The fundamental rights means that is the establishment of equality and liberty in order to reform our social system. The directive principle is contained with positive obligations of the state towards citizens. The directives were meant to ensure social and the economic democracy, which was secured by the provisions of the fundamental rights in our written constitution. And lastly, there are the fundamental duties. So what are the fundamental rights? Here I go through all the rights, and these are the basic fundamental rights. The right to equality, right to equal opportunity, right to adequate means of livelihood, right to human condition of work, the right to get reservation in all local bodies. So what is the right to equality? According to our constitution, in the article 14 and 15 are related to the right to equality. The right to equality is in article number 14 says everyone is equal before law. That means men and women are equal before the law. Article 14 gives the right to equality, and there are the two expressions in this right. That one, the equality before the law, this is one of the, and next one is the equal protection of the laws. And the second article, that is the article number 15, it is also related to the right to equality. It states that the state shall not discriminate against any citizen on grounds of only of the religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, or any of them. It also states that no citizen shall on grounds only on religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, and any of them be subject to any disability, liability, restriction, or condition with regards to access to shops, public restaurants, hotels, and the places of public entertainment. The use of wells, tanks, bathing ghats, roads, and the places of public resort maintained wholly or partly out of the state funds or dedicated to the use of general public. Article 15 also gives the right to affirmative discrimination to state. State can make some special provisions for the women in India, and have made many special rules for the betterment of women. And we heard what are the special rules in previous lecture, Dr. Vibhuti Patel. Now come to the second right, that is the right to equal opportunity. So in our constitution, the article number 16 is very closely related to the right to equal opportunity. The article 16, it provides equality of opportunity for all citizens in matter relating to employment or appointment to any office under the state has ensured equal employment opportunity to every citizen of India. Equal opportunity should be present in each area of employment as equal opportunity for assessing the jobs, equal opportunity for promotion in job, equal opportunity for evolution of performance, equal opportunity for getting reward, right to equal opportunity is someone related to right to work. And let's come to the next right, that is right to adequate means of livelihood. Article 39, 46 and the Article 47 comes under the right to adequate means of livelihood. So what is Article 39? The state to direct its policy towards securing for men and women equally the right to an adequate means of livelihood under Article 39A, and equal pay for equal work for both men and women under the Article 39G. To promote justice on the basis of equal opportunity and to provide free legal aid by suitable legislation or scheme or in any other way to ensure that opportunities for securing justice are not denied to any citizen by reason of economic or other disabilities under section Article 39, Section A. Then Article 46, the state to promote with special care of educational and the economic interest of the weaker section of the people and to protect them from social injustice in and all forms of the exploitation. In Article 47, the state to raise the level of nutrition and standard of living of its people. Then right to human condition of work. So Article 42, according to the Article 42, the caste, I think some disturbance is there, cast a duty on every employer to ensure just a human condition of work and orders every employer to give maternity benefits to the women. This article mainly focuses to provide good working condition to all the employees. And if employee is women, so she would get help in case of the pregnancy. These fundamental rights gives protection against unlawful behavior of the employer. It ensures to work with dignity at a workplace. This right has a broad meaning which includes the right to dignified working condition, the right to work that is freely accepted or chosen, the right to adequate remuneration, the right to a limited workday and remunerated period of the rest, the right to equal pay for work to equal value, the right to equal treatment, the right to safe and hygienic working conditions. And the last right is the right to get reservation in local bodies according to Article 243. So in Article 243, not less than 1/3, including the number of seats reserved for women belonging to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, of the total seat number of the seat to be filled by the direct election in every panchayat to be reserved for women, and such seats to be allotted by rotation to different constituency in panchayat under the Article 243 Section B3. Not less than 1/3 of the total number of the offices of chairperson in the panchayat at each level to be reserved for the women under Article 243 B4. Not less than 1/3, including the number of seats reserved for women belonging to the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribes, of the total number of the seats to be filled by direct election in every municipality to be reserved for women, and such seats to be allotted by rotation to different constituency in municipality under the Article 243 Section T3. Also, the reservation of offices of the chairperson in municipalities for the scheduled caste, the scheduled tribes, and the women in such manner as the legislature of the state may law provide under the Article 243 Section T4. In the Constitution of India and the Government of India, the state has enacted various legislative measures intended to the equal rights, to counter social discrimination and various forms of violence and the atrocities, and to provide support services, especially to working women. Although women may be victims of any of the crimes such as murder, robbery, cheating, the crimes which are directed specifically against women are characterized as crime against women. And there are broadly classified two categories. The crimes identified under the Indian Penal Code, and second, the crime identified under the special law. Next law is the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act 1971. According to this act, no one can take life of any child by abortion, as it is a common to abort a baby girl if parents don't want a baby girl. In this act, abortion has been mentioned a criminal act. In some exceptional cases, this act provides abortion to be performed by a registered medical practitioner in a government hospital. Such cases involves a risk to life of women and substantial risk to the baby after birth. Second one is the Commission of Sati Prevention Act 1987. According to this act, no one can force a woman to burn herself in burial ceremony of her husband. This act provides more effective prevention of the commission of the Sati. Act says that whosoever does any act for the glorification of Sati shall be punishable. Preconception and the Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques Prohibition of Sex Selection Act 1994. This act prohibits sex selection. This act prohibits the use of all techniques for the purpose of sex selection, which could also include the new chromosome separation techniques. It also prohibits the advertisement of any technique used for sex selection as well as those used for sex determination, and it also imposes prohibition on the sale of ultrasound machine to person not registered under this act too. Then Immoral Trafficking Act 1956. According to this act, trafficking and the sexual exploitation of women for commercial purpose is come this criminal act. National Commission for Women Act 1992. In January 1992, the government set up the statutory body with a specific mandate to study and monitor all matters relating to the constitutional and legal safeguards provided for women, reviewing the existing legislation to suggest amendments wherever it is necessary. The Domestic Violence Prevention Act 2005. This act provides for the first time in Indian law a definition of domestic violence, which says it includes not only physical violence, but also verbal, emotional, sexual, and economic abuses. Preamble of this act says, an act to provide for more effective protection of the rights of women guaranteed under the Constitution who are victims of violence of any kind occurring within the family. The Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act 2013. This is a legislative act that seeks to protect women from harassment at the workplace. This statute superseded by Vishaka Guideline for Prevention of Sexual Harassment, introduced by the Supreme Court of India. The Family Code Act 1948. Committee on the Status of Women in 1975 recommended that all matter concerning the family should be dealt separately under this act. The Maternity Benefit Act 1961. This act aims at regulating employment of women employees all over the country. The Act provides 12 weeks women shall be entitled to maternity benefits. She can avail this benefit as 6 weeks up to and including the day of her delivery. Employees State Insurance Act 1948. Under this act, provide health care and cash benefits payment in sickness, maternity, and other situations. This act applies to all seasonal factories run with 2 employees and more than it. Social insurance are here which it provides a medical benefits, sickness benefits, maternity benefits, disablement benefits, dependents benefits, funeral expenses. This act provides a social security to women at the time of their pregnancy. The Married Women Property Act 1875. This act clearly says that the wages and the earnings of any married women acquired or gained by her after passing this act in any employment, occupation, or trade, and also money or other property acquired by her through any artistic or scientific skill, and all savings shall be deemed to be her separated property. In such a way, wife has a right to own the property of husband. We know that there are the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and out of that 17 Sustainable Development Goal, the goal number 5, which is called as the Gender Equality Goal. And under this Gender Equality Goal, they are targeted the various activities. Number 1, ending all forms of discrimination against all women and the girls everywhere. Eliminating all forms of violence against all women and the girls in the public and private spheres, including trafficking and sexual and other types of exploitation. Next, eliminating all harmful practices such as child, early and forced marriage, and female genital mutilation. Fourth, recognizing and valuing unpaid care and domestic work as nationally appropriate. Fifth one, ensuring women's full and effective participation and equal opportunities for leadership at all levels of decision making in political, economic, and public life. Ensuring universal access to sexual and reproductive health and reproductive rights. 7. Undertaking reforms to give women equal right to economic resources. Next, enhancing the use of enabling technology, in particular information and communication technology, to promote the empowerment of women. And the last, adopting enforceably legislation for the promotion of gender equality and the empowerment of all women and girls at all levels. Now, what is the women enrollment ratio? Ramesh Pokhriyal is the Minister of Human Resource Development. He views and expressed in his speech. So he gave a speech on that women enrollment in the higher education. So the Prime Minister of Shri Narendra Modi ji, and the theme of the International Women's Day on March 8, 2020. So the Ramesh Pokhriyal sir gives the talk on the enrollment of women in the higher education. So he says that in that talk, I have taken these points. So in 2018 to 19, so women enrollment is increases in 48.6%, and the total enrollment in higher education, 80.2 million females are enrolled in the higher education. Through the central universities, deemed university, government-aided institutions, so women were appointed as the statutory bodies or the professors or the deans, vice chancellors, uh, but very less enrollment found in the IITs and the NITs. The participation of women increased all over the India in the higher education. And according to the survey of All India Survey on Higher Education, so the higher education, so this is the last 6 years enrollment of women in higher education. So in 2016, there are the only 8% of the female enrollment, and in 18 to 19, so increase the 14% females are increased, and in 1920 the 17%, and the 2021 it's a 20% enrollment is there. Then in IITs and the NITs, so in 2016 and 17, 8% enrollment is there, and but in 19 and 20, it is 18%. But as compared to the men, it is a small number. But overall, we saw from 16-17, it is 8, and in 19-20, it is 18%. And same is in the NITs. So in 17 and 18, it is 14.17%, and in 19 and 20, it is 17.53%. And the enrollment percentage in the PhD also. So in 13-14, it is 40%, and in the 18 to 19, it is 43.82%. So this is the enrollment of the women in higher education from the last 6 years. For this table, in year 13-14, so total number of the teacher enrolled in the universities, deemed universities, central universities, it is 13,67,535. The percentage is 42.2%. And the male teachers are the 57.8%. And in the 18 and 19, is increased by 4.35%. So this is the data I have collected from the All India Survey on Indian higher education. And what are the best practices to increase the enrollment of women in the higher education, as well as in the politics and the economics of Indian education system. So these are the best practices, and organize the seminars, workshop on gender biases, stereotyping, gender equality, and the women's rights according to the UGC guideline. Then UGC guideline, there is also one requirement, that is the establishment of the culture and the theatre clubs. And as Viti Patel madam says, they display the helpline numbers, women's helpline numbers, and the felicitation of the women's on the celebration of the International Women Day. So these are the best practices for the enrollment of women in the higher education. So thank you, Francis Vaidya, for inviting me. Thank you.